What up, peeps? We are back again, back at it with another week of Wkly Detox. How's it going?
Detox.
It's me, D from DCTV, and I'm here with
Mighty Mosby.
Every week. You know, it's us two bringing you all the weekly current events, news, TV, entertainment, music, whatever mess has gone on in this past week. We're going to break it down for you, put our little spin on it, and we can detox and get ready for the next one.
Let's do it.
All right. Mighty Mosby, before we get started, for anyone who's new, you want to let them know where you're at on these interwebs?
You can find me at Mighty Mosby on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Facebook, Snapchat, and you can always find me on my website, www.ambermosbywrites.com.
Yes, check her out on all of those platforms. And then there, you know, you get to hear her reckless mouth, but you get to see her in action.
And show me some love. Come show me some love.
The audio visual of it all. So check them out. So you ready to get into this week of detox?
Let's do it.
You're really ready. Okay,
make up your mind. Which level of enthusiasm do you want?
Ask and you shall receive.
Correct,
okay.
Ma'am.
All right, so I'm started where we need to start it. We got to talk about it, right? It's everywhere. So we're going to get into the Cosby release. We are going to talk about it. So before we give our opinions, our humble opinions, I'm just going to break down for those of you who haven't heard. I don't know where you've been if you haven't heard, but if you haven't heard, this is coming from CNN.com. Bill Cosby was released this week from prison after the Supreme Court of Pennsylvania vacated his 2018 conviction on sexual assault charges. He was originally sentenced in 2018 to 10 years in a state prison for drugging and sexually assaulting Andrea Constand at his home 14 years ago.
Oh my gosh.
So
it hasn't even been 3-4 years.
No, not 3-4 years. So before we get into our opinions, for the people who have selective hearing, I'm going to say this most important part from the CNN report. Why he was released. Listen carefully, people. Listen with your ears. A panel of Pennsylvania State Supreme Court judges ruled that there was a vast violation of Cosby's due process rights when he was criminally charged and convicted, a decade after a previous prosecutor had declined to prosecute him in order to urge him to sit for a civil disposition instead, which was ultimately used against him for his criminal trial. The panel of judges say that their opinion released Wednesday that when former county district attorney of Montgomery County, Bruce Castor, investigated allegations of drugging and raping against Cosby by a woman named Andrea Constand, again from 2005, Castor felt that he would not be able to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that Cosby drugged and raped Constand. So this is why he was released.
So for those of you at home that don't understand all that legal jargon, what she is saying is that Cosby was not found innocent of these charges or crimes. Instead, his conviction was overturned, as in they said, we were wrong on this conviction, not on his guilt or innocence. We were wrong about this conviction because we used a piece of evidence that was not allowed to be used. That's it, y'all.
Nailed it on the head. But for those people who still don't get it and are still saying, see, Cosby was innocent, I'm going to break it down even more.
Oh, goodness.
The reason why this was overturned is because he had already had a deal to admit some form of guilt in a civil case. Therefore, you couldn't use that same evidence in a criminal case.
Correct.
But going back to what I just said, he had already made a deal to reveal his guilt in a civil case.
He had already acknowledged, yes, he had done a crime, but it was in a civil case, not a criminal case. And then they used that confession from the civil case against him in his criminal case. And that was deemed a violation of due process. The
Yes.
American justice system, incredibly convoluted to find ways to let bad guys go while keeping minimal criminals in prison for years. Unbelievable.
So people who just want to feel he's innocent for whatever reason, you could do as much mental gymnastics as you want. The fact of the matter is, he said with his mouth that he drugged these women. He slipped them Mickeys and he engaged in sexual relationship, which is beyond their consent because they were under the influence at the time. He said it with his mouth, y'all.
He did. It's typed up into legal documents, everyone.
So just because he is not criminally guilty, don't change his behaviors.
So if you are arguing on behalf of Cosby, congratulations on being a rape apologist.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
I tuned out after I heard he was getting released and I found out the information. I tuned out of social media altogether because I knew, as much as I am with my community, that sometimes we back the wrong horse just because they're Black. And so I knew so many people in our community were going to be like, see, he's innocent. See, he deserved to get out, without actually using their discernment because they just don't want to see a Black man in the system.
And did you see Felicia Rashad's comment?
I did. Do you want to break it down what she said?
I'm not going to read that comment because I refuse to acknowledge any celebration of this situation. But basically, what Auntie Felicia decided to do was support Cosby's overturning, claiming that he was innocent and that she's glad he's out.
And that this was a victory against
This was a victory against a crooked justice system, because somehow the justice system was crooked when they went after a man that openly admitted to being a date rapist. Somehow the government was the crooked one.
Yeah. Felicia, I guess she has to become that auntie that you don't really go and hang out with because she's going to say something reckless, and then you want to respect your elders and not out. So you just
exactly what it is. You can't bring her to any dinner because she's going to open her mouth and say some things. And you're like, nope, that's not what any of us stand for. So now look at us. Now we all got to apologize for your behavior.
Yeah.
Hard
and
pass.
Especially problematic for her because she just became Dean of Diversity at Howard University.
Oh my gosh.
Knows that campus sexual assault is rampant. It's been steady since women were able to be on campuses. So what kind of precedent are you setting as a dean to say you will apologize if at your own subjectiveness, if you feel close to them or you feel like they deserve to be free? What's going to happen on campus when these things happen if it's someone that you know that you're close to?
Absolutely. That's exactly what I was thinking. You can't tell me a thing. You can't tell me you support women. You can't call yourself a feminist. You can't even call yourself a strong representation of Black people for me right now. Did you see what Janice Hubert had to say in return? I know Aunt Viv. Aunt Viv is how we know her, but I want to make sure I say her name accurately.
Is that the Black chick? Is that who you're talking about?
That's Black Aunt Viv.
Yeah,
that's
the Black
Aunt Viv.
Gotcha. What'd she say?
She called out Auntie Felicia. Like, how in the world? She said, we knew.
Of course.
She said everybody knew what was going on.
Yeah.
Tell the truth.
mean, he had accusations all the way up from the 70s until the early 2000s. There's no way that the people around him, some people around him didn't have no awareness of how he navigated and how he women. So I'm glad that Janet Huber spoke up because we need more people from her generation and Rashad's generation to not do that Black silence on things that are happening in our community just because for Blackness sake. Like, it's not
hold your peers accountable, y'all.
Period.
Hold our elders accountable. Y'all watching him, y'all knew what was going on. Hold that man accountable.
Exactly.
Shameful.
We're trying to be in a space now culturally where we don't let these things go unchecked. And so, some things from the past of some of our previous ancestors, some of our previous, like, icons, they're going to come up, and we got to be prepared to get uncomfortable and hold them accountable, because how are we going to try to hold the modern icons accountable if we won't even acknowledge a lot of wrongdoing that went on prior to that? It's just not cool.
Crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah. So what do you predict Bill Cosby's gonna do, say, now that he's back in the community?
I feel like he is definitely going to try and just pick up and work like right where he may have left off without realizing that he's absolutely tainted goods. Like, you're tainted goods, sir. I wouldn't dare connect my name to Cosby in any way, shape, or form. And only a fool would. With cancel culture, as powerful as it is, you'd have to be a complete dummy to connect yourself to Cosby.
Yeah, that's where people are getting it confused, because although we got a lot of people in the Black community that are ready to open arms him, he had his appeal with the paper color community. And they're not messing with him no more because he messed with their women.
Exactly.
So he's not going to have this renaissance that y'all thinking.
Oh, no, they're not going to sit around.
White people.
They're definitely not going to sit around with a Black man getting away with date raping 24 plus paper colored women.
Yeah. And then on top of that, he did the other paper color thing, which is getting off on something that
he was able to use his financial success and his connections the way paper colored people often do to get away with a paper colored crime.
So you think
they're not going to stand for that?
Community's going to take that lying down? That's their thing.
They're not going to let you get away with Brock Turner like repercussions.
No.
They're not going to let you get away with that.
You Negroes go to jail, period. You don't get to get free even if you're guilty.
I'm telling you, if they could find a community to lynch, they'd be on their way. Yeah. I said it.
So like you said, Bill Cosby's going to probably try to spin the narrative and try to work out something for his last twilight years. But like we said, you've already been excommunicated by the paper color community. So it's a wrap. You better just go sit there. Be glad that you got away with it. Go sit in silence.
Absolutely.
All right. So you ready for our next topic?
Let's go.
All right. I'm going to give you something to kiki about, since we just talked about something that's a little less pleasant.
Something pleasant, please.
Yeah. So according to YahooNews.com, America's favorite entitled Republican brat, Meghan McCain, is exiting The View.
I'm already laughing, and I'll tell you why after you finish introducing the topic. Go ahead.
According to the report, Meghan announced that after 4 years on The View, she has decided to exit, that she will be finishing out her run for the month of July, and then she's outro to annoy another place thing, I guess.
I love how she's like, I've decided to exit, as if they haven't literally been trying to push her out since she got there.
This is like the most unnecessary announcement ever. She could have just like disappeared, right? Like and
she no one would could have stopped coming on stage, and everybody would have just been like, and moved right the fuck along.
The world has aligned the way it should.
Absolutely. Like, nobody has time for your Trump apologist behavior, for your supporting a party that mocked your father in his grave. Like, go get a grip, girl.
Yeah, I hope she didn't think that anyone was going to be sad that Meghan, my father, McCain, was leading a show where her opinion was so unwanted, irrelevant,
unwelcome, and just like so far out of the scope of the average citizen. Like, what are you even talking about? Someone who has built their entire career on the fact that their father was John McCain.
Yeah. Like, even for a conservative, she still was beyond annoying. Like, I could take some conservative people, but the fact that she just would be a contrarian just to be the Republican contrarian.
Absolutely.
You're a joke.
Absolutely. Are those even really your thoughts and opinions, or you just parroting what they tell you to say?
Essentially. Like, she knew that she wasn't interesting enough to kind of be moderate as a host. So she was like, you know what? I gotta be interesting because I'm super boring, and my only claim to fame is that I have a famous military father. So let me just, be this contrarian that just has to say anything opposite of what a quote unquote liberal opinion would be on these current issues. And then people will think I have a personality. Got it.
Gross. But I was laughing because, of course, that was on the timeline on Twitter. And this person was like, now we no longer have to look at the world's worst hairstyles. And they were just showing like a bunch of different hair dishes.
I don't know what quarter life, or I don't know how old she is, what kind of crisis she had been going through, but I saw the post-Rona,
I was
post-lockdown
doing
hairstyle.
her hair, baby.
Somebody online was saying that stylist is doing this on purpose. This is a personal vendetta.
Gotta be. Like, some of them little ponytails and buns that she had added on, and you could just basically see that it looked like Barbie doll hair. And I was just
she got bumpets and sock buns in her hair.
Yeah, like, what are you doing with space buns? Aren't you like 40?
And I'm supposed to take your opinion seriously. Like, she can get gone. I mean, I think everyone's gonna miss the slander that the other co-hosts would give her on a daily basis.
Yes. Is The View, is that the one with Whoopi Goldberg on it?
Yeah, that's one with Whoopi, and what's her name? Joy Behar would give her
Joy Behar
every day.
I'm sure was giving her the business all the time.
Day. And Whoopi would just cut to commercial. She wouldn't even give her any energy.
Exactly. Like, girl, bye, Meghan. Bye.
So, yeah, I think we can speak for the whole United States of saying we don't care, and we're glad to no longer have to see your pumpkin head on.
I mean, good luck becoming a quote unquote political pundit on Fox News, because I can't imagine anybody else is just dying to get Meghan McCain on their team.
No. I'm either she gonna beg them to join Fox News and then just be your run-of-the-mill blonde puppet, or she's gonna try to like do her own conservative podcast that no one's gonna listen to.
Absolutely no one.
Either way, I won't be tuning in, so I don't care.
You won't be getting a viewer or listener out of me. Thank you very much.
All right. So after four excruciatingly annoying years, we can finally say goodbye.
Bye, Meghan McCain. Make sure I say Meghan McCain before somebody uses that sound bite against the wrong Meghan. Bye, Meghan McCain.
We are explicitly talking about Meghan, my father, McCain.
McCain, exactly.
All right, Mighty Mosby. So this next topic is, of course, because it's been all over the world, this Free Britney situation.
Child.
Yeah, we got to talk about it.
I had no idea it was as bad as it is.
Yeah. So we're going to break it down for y'all because this is a lot. Yes. But I want to give all the information before we give our thoughts. So I'm bringing this from BBC.com. Like, see, it's all over the world.
Wow.
So after decades of silence, Britney Spears was able to give her testimony on why she wants her conservatorship from her father, Jamie Spears, to end. So she told a U.S. judge that she had been drugged, forced medication, forced to perform against her will, prevented from having children, and she has been under this conservatorship for the past 13 years. Britney Spears states that the arrangement has been abusive and traumatizing, and she just wants her life back. So Jamie Spears, her father, currently oversees her entire fortune, along with a professional wealth management firm. So they're co-conservators. So, licensed professional conservator temporarily took over Britney's personal care in 2019, and she has since opposed her father's return into that role. So, let me
Right.
just break down some of these things that Britney opened up and said in her testimony that this conservatorship has done. So, they have taken control over her productive health. This woman is 39 years old, and she is not able to have children of her own volition. She has had an IUD inserted and unable to be removed for over a decade.
Wow.
She was asked to have children with her current partner, Sam Asghari, and she has not been allowed to. She's been forced to perform against her will. She claimed that management threatened to sue her if she didn't complete a 31-day tour.
Wow.
She was made to take medication she did not want. She has no control over her mental health care. She has been put on lithium. And if you know anything about lithium, it's when you have a severe mood disorder, that is like the strongest mood stabilizer you can take. It has a lot of side effects. And this was happening after she canceled her Las Vegas residency in late 2018. She also has been exploited for money, according to her. She says on several occasions, she has been making money for other people while being refused access to her own fortune, which is estimated at approximately $60 million.
Wow.
Her father does not have her best interests at heart, according to her. She believes that her father forced her to go to rehab, which cost $60,000, and did not care about any of the distress that forced rehab caused her. She also feels her team is exposing her to the paparazzi. They have put her in therapy twice a week in a specific location where photographers can often follow her. She doesn't feel like she has any privacy, and she doesn't feel like this therapy is being effective to her mental health. She said after all this time, she felt guilty for pretending that she has been doing well and that she's been happy when she's just constantly in tears. She feels like she has no adult life. She has no agency, no privacy, and no control over the fortune that she's created by being the mega superstar that we know her well and good to be. So this is a lot.
That's a lot to take in. That's a lot to think about. You just wouldn't expect that someone else could have that kind of control over your life while you're still cognitive and fully physical and capable of taking care of yourself. I know she had a mental illness diagnosis, but you're her father and you're refusing to let her have children with a steady life mate. You're forcing her to perform when she's telling you she needs a break. Like there's two sides to every story, but sir, this is a lot of things for her to be thrown against you, and for her sister to be in full support of herself. Her sister, who's been in charge of herself for how long now? Because Jamie Lynn had herself, didn't she? What is it called when a teenager or a minor? Say that again.
Emancipated.
Yes, she emancipated herself. Absolutely.
And when she became a teen mom.
Yes, fortunately, she became a teen mom, but she emancipated herself and she's been taking care of her own stuff ever since. And I'm just like, that's a heck of a vote of confidence in my book.
Yeah. And so like, it's a lot to take in, and you really can't discount this as all her just, saying stuff or having an episode, because we all know when this started around the mid 2000s, when Britney Spears just started having this erratic behavior. We saw the head shaving. We saw her attack the paparazzi with the umbrella. We saw all that. So we knew something was going on. And then shortly after that, she came into this conservatorship. But after that, she's been silent. She hasn't said,
I haven't heard anything.
Anything.
She was still performing. Like, I haven't heard nothing about her.
Well, I knew she had that Vegas residency, so she was doing that for a while, and then she was touring. I think she had an international tour after that, but she has been dead silent. And for her to come out now and really break all these things that are embarrassing, that are really airing out all of her private things that she's been.
That's a lot of her personal business to put in the streets for nothing.
Yeah, who talks about being on forced birth control? Like, who would say things like this unless there's some merit of truth to it?
And what birth control do you get on that stays in you for 10 years? I thought
IUD.
IUDs had to come out after 5.
No, they can actually stay into I think now about 12 years, depending on the type of IUD you get. Yeah.
Baby, no. That's so risky to me. I
And
don't
so,
know.
We know, like we said, no one's going to deny that Britney Spears suffers from a mental health or mood related condition. We never have fully understood what it is, but we know that it's present, and she's never really denied that she struggles with mental health. So we can understand that, she, for whatever time period, she needed some support in place. She was having some trouble making like healthy decisions for her life, and she had young kids at the time. So of course that brings in another level of concern. But at the same time, she's been in this conservatorship for over a decade. And there becomes a point that, mentally ill or not, you have to give a person a chance to survive or to struggle or to whatever they're going to do in their human existence. You got to give them that chance. From what she's describing, since she was a young adult, she really hasn't been able to have any agency coming in. She's almost 40 now.
I'm saying, and just like, this is the thing about conservatorship that just makes it so awful, because once you're under it, it's like damn near impossible to prove
that you're well
and that you don't need the conservatorship anymore. That's so crazy to me. And you're her blood. You're her freaking father. Like, the money can't be so important.
I mean, clearly
it has to be important at a point.
Clearly it is that he's fighting tooth and nail to hold on to this conservatorship, even though she's like in your face saying, and I don't think she's even saying, I don't want a conservatorship. She's saying, I don't want
him. Yeah. She's just saying she doesn't want her father
in control of my life like you've been for the past decade plus.
Exactly.
And there's obviously some manipulation. It's not just for her betterment, because if you're putting her on heavy mood stabilizers and forcing her into different facilities that she doesn't get to like understand and see, like, this is a place I want to go to, because she's saying, I don't want to perform, or I don't want to do this like extensive extreme tour when maybe I'm not feeling my best, or I'm exhausted, or I want to be home with my family. And you're saying, okay, if you don't do it, I'm going to force you into treatment. I'm going to force you into medication. Then it's not just about her well-being. There's some other information there. There's 60 million people keep her out of making decisions for herself.
Definitely 60 million reasons, like you just said, for sure. It's shameful. Yeah. It's shameful. It's a disgrace. And this is a young woman. This is a woman who has never had 5 minutes to herself. No. Since she was like, 12 years old, when she was on Mickey Mouse Club or whatever. Yeah. She hasn't had like 5 minutes to herself. Yeah. And so I can't even imagine.
Yeah. Ooh. And so for me, I believe her, mentally ill or not. I believe her. I believe her father has held on to this because he gets to control her wealth. Like, she's on an allowance. She can't even do a splurge shopping trip or a vacation without his approval. Like, crazy. These are just human things.
Have that much control. Nobody should be able to have that much control over another human being. Nobody should.
And so I put all the blame on Jamie Spears, but don't think for a second I'm not looking at the other people in her circle, including Jamie. And I don't know about this partner she has, but
I'm looking at her management team. I'm looking at her management team, her production team, the rest of her family members, like all of y'all just sitting back, benefiting off of this man holding her hostage.
Yeah. Yeah. It's giving me a bunch of enablers that are just taking money out of her pockets and keeping her locked down like this. So I'm looking at all of them.
All of them got to go.
Yeah. So we don't know yet how this all is going to pan out. I mean, she's just talked for the first time after, this decade plus of silence. So who knows how much they're going to take this testimony under consideration, or what's going to happen. But, we'll stay tuned. But I feel for her. I feel, even if she's made some mistakes related to mental health or not, people make mistakes. There are people who have done a lot worse than Britney Spears,
Yep.
just on their own,
Yep.
without any mental health issues. So like, give me a break. You got to give her a chance to
Exactly. Show that she's show that she's
Mm.
grown, that she's learned to cope, that she's developed some strategies, that she's been working with her interventions. Show some proof. Give her the opportunity to show and prove.
Yeah. And like, I'm a component for whatever is the best mental health. So say you give her this chance and she deteriorates, she has big episodes, she's not taking care of herself. Okay, then reassess at that time. But give her a chance to see if she's found some way to cope with these things that she struggles with.
Exactly. Agreed. We're in agreement.
Yeah. So it's a sad case, but this is kind of lean me towards the free Britney train. Yeah. Free her to give her a chance is what I feel like.
Let her have an opportunity to show that she has improved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, we wish Britney Spears all the best. Like we grew up to her.
Good luck.
The amazing talent, and hopefully this can work out in a way that is best for her.
Absolutely.
All right. And so to take us from that kind of sad topic, I want, of course, to end on a note where we can either kiki or we can drag someone. So I chose the latter. We're going to drag today.
Who we dragging?
We're going to drag Miss I Love Us For Real.
Who?
Miss I Love Us For Real, Miss Boycott Netflix.
What has Monique done this time?
It's not so much what she's done new, it's what she's continuing to do. So you're aware of this Monique situation with the whole Bonnetgate, right?
Yes.
So instead of just letting that die after she already received that backlash, she chose to double down and recently took a photo. I don't know if someone sent her the photo or she took it herself, of a Black woman without her consent.
Ooh.
This was a bigger Black woman.
Oh gosh.
I will say the image. I'll be honest with the image. She was in public with what looked like some really long top, some shorts that were almost like underwear, like cheeky underwear. She didn't have on a bonnet. However, she did have on a plastic trash bag, clearly doing some protective type of thing to her head. Okay, the imagery is not right, but I'm not going to choose this time to focus on her. I'm going to reflect it back to Monique because she took this picture. This is what she said after she posted this image. Hey, beautiful queens. I'm going to say it in her condescending Monique voice. Hey, beautiful queens. No shaming. If this is the best you can do, no judgment. Do you. This was sent to me as an example of what we're talking about that goes on in our community. However, if this is not your best, then do better. Being that ultimately the decision either way is yours. I love us for real.
So she goes and grabs an extreme example and tries to hold it up like that's our mirror.
Yeah.
If that's the way you feel you look when you step outside in your bonnet, then you need to process your own shit. But the majority of us are only running outside with our hair tied up to do a quick errand or two at most. We're not headed out to dinner dates. We're not walking through the mall. We're not going to meet family and things of that nature. Like, chill out.
Yeah.
Let's not take extreme examples of people who are sometimes lacking awareness of their presentation.
Yeah.
And try and hold it up like that's the mirror for all of us.
Yeah.
No, bitch.
If you don't fit this idea that I feel like you should present as, you're not doing your best, you don't deserve respect, you don't deserve to be treated like a queen. And it's just like, I have two thoughts to this. The one thought is the taking the picture and posting it without this woman's consent. Because if you were doing this as a place of like help, you would not have put this on your big platform when you know that Black women in general, and then Black women who don't fit the ideal physical and beauty standard, get demolished when their images are on social media, not in the best light. Like, you already know this. You are a Black woman. So the fact that you put this woman out there to just get trashed by people who don't care is just wrong. It's not right. Second of all,
and it's tacky.
Yeah. Second of all, this whole condescending, I love us for real, I want the best for you, is complete BS, because we all know you don't care about how we're walking out with bonnets, with anything, with gold earrings. Like, you don't care about all that. What you care about is how white people feel when they like that. And you don't want to be associated with something that you don't feel white people would appreciate.
This is just respectability politics disguised as loving advice.
Yeah. It's complete BS. You can say it in as nice a way as you want, but it's just about, I don't want you Black people embarrassing me in front of white people.
Absolutely.
Now, at the same time, because two things can be true at the same time, am I going to go and cape for women walking out in pajamas and sleep headdresses and all that stuff? No, that's not the hill I'm about to die on. And I'm not going to, promote that, because it doesn't serve me to promote it. But at the same time, let people do them. How does it affect your life, how this woman steps out into the world? Like, people are so focused on what everyone else is doing. They don't know how to just focus on themselves. And then you get yourself wrapped up where you got to get dragged because you haven't 100% of the time had the most socially acceptable appearance, Monique. Like, let's just be real about it.
I was going to say, but I think Monique has forgotten how she used to look.
Yeah.
How she used to dress. The outfits that she chose that were not always flattering to her body type. I think she's forgetting some things.
And you've proudly stated you don't shave. You come out with hairy legs or hairy whatever, which is, fine. I don't really care about that. But it's the fact that you have things that might not be, the most acceptable, and we let you rock. So just give someone else that same respect, and don't do things that are going to cause especially a Black woman, because I'm team Black woman 100%, that's going to have them be publicly dragged and shamed.
Absolutely.
Like, it's not right.
No, not a fan, not here for it, won't support it. Try again.
Yeah. And then to double down on that, why do we have to put our sisters, our fellow Black women in place? But I guess the moment has presented itself. Tiffany Haddish had to do her shucking and jiving as usual. And when she was asked about this whole bonnet situation, she had to side with Monique and saying, it's about being presentable. It's about being appropriate. And then the whole Black community had to remind her about
she put chicken in her freaking
2019 Met Gala. She decided to show up as a chicken pimp.
Like, you brought chicken in your purse. You came as a chicken pimp. Like, you ignorant. You happy to be ignorant. So now you want white movie roles. So now it's time to talk about being respectable. Got it.
When your whole claim to fame is this Black ghetto hood girl stereotype, then you have the nerve to talk about what's appropriate. Like, am I being punked right now?
Unbelievable. It's so easy to forget. Once that money starts rolling in, people forget. But the rest of us haven't forgot. And we're not going to let you forget. Congratulations.
Yeah. And also, don't forget the fact that Miss Haddish, the paper color people want you to be the chicken. That's what
exactly what they want you to be.
You didn't put on by being, this dramatic actress. They want you to be a caricature. So you should be looking at women who might not be presenting themselves in not the best light or a stereotypical way as your sisters, because that's what put you on. So who do you think you are?
Exactly. Next.
Yeah, I had to end it off on just bringing it down to the carpet, because we got to do better as Black women.
Yeah.
We do not know how to stay on code, even if it's something you don't like. there's a way that you address it that does not bring other Black women down, especially in the public eye. And if you don't get that code, I'm going to have to let you know by dragging you.
Absolutely. Here for it. There's the snaps. Can't end the podcast without some snaps. I'm a snap for that.
There we go.
There
Hey, Monique, I don't want to hear no more about this bonnet thing. It's over. It's late. And you need to just move on and work on finding a way to stop calling your husband daddy when he's younger than you.
Ooh. Not the mommy issues.
Let's focus on that. Maybe that is where your energy should be. Just
not
saying.
not doubling down on the mommy issues. Yikes.
Yeah. And on that reading note, we are going to wrap up this week of Wkly Detox.
My goodness.
Yeah, we had a lot to unpack. Some sad, some funny, some just people that needed to be read, but we got through it. And we'll be back next week. And I'm sure there'll be a whole new cluster of people to drag. And we will be ready.
Yes, we will.
Ready to drag if need be.
Okay, bye, y'all.
Bye.